My name is Chanda Mobley, and I've been an advocate for over 10 years and survivor. I started sharing my story in, I think, 2014, of sharing my story of how I got through domestic violence and being a survivor. My story starts as a young child of experiencing verbal abuse at the hands of my father, where I was traumatized that was the beginning stages of my trauma. I was also abused physically, beaten naked, and unprotected by my mother. I believe that my mother experienced trauma as well, so hurt people, right? So I say that to say that you can never judge a book by its cover, right? Because I've been through a lot in my life. So as a young child, I ended up at the age of 17 leaving home, right? So when I left home, I had no plan. I had no place to go. So I went into the hands of a young man at the age of 23, right? I was 17 years old. And so it went on to the point where I lived with this person. I was with him. He was good to me at first, right? And then at the age of 19, I had a child. After the birth of that child, the abuse began. It was traumatizing to the point where I had one black eye and one closed black eye, right? So I was trying to survive, right? So I knew that I had no place else to go. I didn't have any resources like they have now where I had a number or a place to reach out to. So as my story goes on, hurt people, and trauma still with me because my trauma was not healed, right? So as I continue to go on with life, right, I meet another man, and my son is at least 5 years old. I was the age of 23 at this time. I lived in an apartment with this man, and I did not know that he was abusing drugs. So I decided that after one beating from him, of kicking and stomping me with his shoes, as I laid in fear, I decided that I am going to leave this man. And when I left, I told him that, this Friday I'm going to be leaving. I'm starting my life over. So he comes home, and under the influence of his drug, he begins to want to rape me. And I decided that, no, you are not going to rape me. I'm going to leave. So he began to beat me until I bled furiously out of my mouth. I thought I was literally going to die. He began to strangle me. And when he strangled me, I prayed out to God that if he would just let me go, and he dropped at that moment, it was like God heard my cry, and he just fell to his feet and he collapsed. I got my son and I escaped. So at that age of young 23, I thought I would have been dead at the age of 23. Moving forward, I took my trauma and I used my trauma to strive to help other people as I got older. But then I also married into trauma. So it's good to treat your trauma. He was verbally and physically abusive as well. I am now 55 years old, and I am a survivor, and I have thrived, and I am strong, and I will continue to be the strength in any woman, any person that's involved in intimate partner violence. I live my life to save and help others with purpose. You matter to me. Everyone matters to me. Your life matters. I love what I do. I love to encourage other people in different communities. I have been all over the city giving my time as an advocate, meeting all walks of life. Abuse doesn't just show up on somebody's face or that that person is an abuser. You just will find out in the intimate time that you spend with that person. So never judge a book by its cover, because you never know who's under that cover, right? So listen to me as I speak and you hear the sound of my voice. that each and every person, each life, that I will continue to strive and continue to speak until I can no longer speak anymore. I will continue on my journey and mission, You Matter movement. I will continue to speak in different organizations, different cities. God showed me that I will continue to strive. When I met a moment when I went to Harrisburg and I spoke in the governor's office, and I knew that my voice mattered, I was actually being heard. That is such an awesome moment. I cried. We cried together in the office. And that was an awesome time for me, right? So it was an aha moment, like, yes, you are being heard, right? So I want you to take my story and I want you to impact other people to help against intimate partner violence. It's definitely a silent killer. People are afraid right now at this very moment. Someone is living in fear. Fear is a hard place to be. Living in fear is very traumatizing, and you need to be able to survive. Survival it's important, right? I've nearly died 3 times at the hands of someone else, right? And then about 5 years ago, I was also diagnosed with lupus. So I still continue to strive, whether I have a good day or a bad day, because somebody else's life matters. Thank you.